Today, we're going to be looking at the best and worst SUVs to lease right now. First, I'm going to walk you through the 5 worst SUVs you can lease, and then I'll walk you through the 5 best. And at the end, we'll dive into some commentary about the overall market. To measure this, we're using a simple metric, which is the ratio of the monthly payment to the MSRP of the vehicle. This is traditionally called the 1% rule because a 1% payment to MSRP ratio is often considered a good deal. And you'll see we have some way above that and way below that. All of this data comes from our website, cardeals.fyi, where we track every lease deal across the entire country to build our lease price index, which allows us to accurately measure what are the best deals and what are the worst deals. You can check it out for free at cardeals.fyi. All right, so let's dive into the worst SUVs that you can lease right now. In fifth place is the Jaguar F-Pace with a payment to MSRP ratio of 1.69%. In fourth place is the Land Rover Discovery with a ratio of 1.74%. In third place is the Land Rover Range Rover Evoque with a ratio of 1.81%. In second place is the Land Rover Range Rover with a ratio of 1.91%. A lot of Land Rovers in this list. And in first place, the worst SUV to lease in the entire country right now is the Mercedes-Benz G-Class with a payment to MSRP ratio of 1.92%. All right, so now that we've looked at the worst deals, let's walk through the 5 best SUVs that you can lease right now. In fifth place is the Kia EV9 with a payment to MSRP ratio of 0.97%. In fourth place is the Subaru Forester with a ratio again of 0.97%, tied with the EV9. In third place is the Ford Mach-E with a ratio of 0.93%. In second place is the Jeep Wrangler with a ratio of 0.82%. And in first place, the SUV with the best lease deal in the entire country right now is the Polestar 3 with a payment to MSRP ratio of just 0.81%. That is less than half of the ratio of the Mercedes G-Class. So now that we've walked through the numbers, let's talk about them. Let's start by looking at the worst deals. First thing you'll notice is they are all luxury brands. And the next thing you'll notice is that 3 of them are Land Rovers. So the Mercedes G actually makes a lot of sense because it is one of the most in-demand vehicles globally and probably the most in-demand SUV. So the high ratio makes sense. For the Land Rovers, the explanation is a bit more nebulous. The truth is, Land Rovers typically do not lease well. When offers are available, if anything, they're usually on the financing side. So that's likely what's going on here. There are just not many amazing lease deals being offered on Land Rovers. And the Jaguar, I really don't think should be on that list. Even if it was a good deal, I probably would not recommend leasing a Jaguar. So I'm not sure how they're getting away with that bad of a deal. Now let's talk about the best deals. So here you'll notice another trend. There are a lot of EVs in this list. And that really makes sense just because EV sales have been so sluggish. So manufacturers are looking for ways to move inventory here. The Wrangler being on this list, we can really just attribute to the manufacturer's financial issues. Jeep is across the board offering a lot of great deals, especially with the new Bronco as competition. The Wrangler has now been heavily discounted for years. And honestly, I think it is actually probably one of the best vehicle deals available in the nation right now. So that's all for today, folks. And again, you can see all of this data and more on our website, cardeals.fyi.